Hello, I'm Sharon O'Connell, and I'd like to tell you a little about some exciting plans our library board is considering. First, I want to describe some of the ways the library has become the special place it is, and how we are striving to continue its legacy for future generations. The Skaneateles Library anchors the cultural and informational life of our beautiful, vibrant village and surrounding area. Its mission is to inspire learning, enrich lives, and connect our community. In 1900, the John D. Barrow Art Gallery was opened and another chapter in the library's history began.
Look how far we've come in all those years.
So many people have been involved in that long ride.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they have. Good caregivers and community-minded people that just love this treasure.
Between 100 and 150 people use the library every day. When people open the wonderful wooden door, they're greeted by friendly clerks and the warmth of an ancient fireplace, wing chairs, computers, book displays, thick wooden ceiling planks, and a captivating peek at a beautiful children's room. Heading back through the library, we enter the Barrow Gallery to admire the careful study of nature in John Barrow's paintings. The Silence Room upstairs has been reorganized to provide some office space, as well as storage for Barrow paintings not being displayed. The large meeting room on the second floor works well for able-bodied people who can climb the staircase. The basement, with its uneven floors and low ceilings, is used for book sorters who work all year to prepare for the annual book sale. And the children's room is an intimate room that can be used by several children at a time. When too many kids arrive, though, it's not easy to be comfortable.
The branches of the home tree. They also set fireflies.
2 years ago, the library board realized that the library needed to address patrons' needs and minimize the building's shortcomings. Paul Mays, an architect specializing in libraries, drew up some preliminary plans.
My name's Paul Mays. I'm a library architect. I work all over New York and Connecticut. And I've been honored to work with the Skaneateles Library Association and the J.D. Barrow Art Gallery for the last few years in helping them to establish a plan to move forward with 21st century library services.
Unexpectedly at that point, Peter and Elsa Soderberg presented a unique offer. This idea took the board completely by surprise, but it seemed to be a once-in-a-hundred-years offer that needed to be considered seriously. 6 architectural firms were invited to work for one day and to show the board a sample of their work.
What we've established is a set of plans, actually, 3 different options, that would expand and improve egress and accessibility intra-building, that is, from floor to floor and from various space to various space within the library. And so as we've been looking at the master plan that might include additions, renovations, and changes to this building, we've also been evaluating what other opportunities there might be in the community to provide the best and most accessible services to the entire Charter to Serve area. That might include work on another site or development of another library space that is easier to supervise, and sight lines are improved, and primarily accessibility is improved.
So they began running focus groups and community discussion sessions. We asked Paul Mays, the architect who worked on renovating the current library building, to compare the benefits and cost of renovation versus new construction.
We've been working on an existing conditions analysis of the existing building, which is a lovely structure in downtown Skaneateles that houses both the library and a salon or meeting room upstairs, as well as the Barrow Art Gallery. As we've been looking at the existing building, of course, there are various constraints associated with working in historic buildings, which is often the case for library architects. And what we have to do is balance what those constraints are versus the costs related to improving or mitigating those issues.
We're often asked about the operational costs of the building and whether it'll be more expensive at a new location. Quite to the contrary, we believe it'll be equal to or less expensive to operate a new facility than it would be a facility that was expanded here at the existing library. And the reason for that's very straightforward. We have better sight lines, a single floor, and we can staff more effectively. And staffing is one of our largest costs. There'll be no tax dollars used for the building. We will be looking for private funding to build the building.
We asked people what they would want in a renovated or rebuilt library.
There are several areas we've identified where improving our space would really improve our services. The biggest one is accessibility, both getting to and getting around inside the building. We need bigger and better spaces for kids and teens, and more books and other materials for adults as well. We also need more people space, places for people to work alone or in groups. We could provide some of that in a renovation of this building, but not all of it. We won't be able to provide parking. We could provide better spaces for kids and teens, but we'd actually have to reduce the size of the adult collection in order to make the space accessible. We could add one small meeting room, but no small tutoring or study spaces, and not much in the way of seating and workspace. A building that's divided up into so many different rooms and levels makes it difficult to provide the flexibility to meet the current and future needs of our community.
Many libraries with whom we work are really searching for that key component, that very interesting piece that makes them unique, that makes somebody say, that's that library. And the Barrow is obviously one of those examples. It's something that doesn't exist anywhere else and is part and parcel of what the Skaneateles experience is. So any solution really needs to include the Barrow as well as improved library services.
Yeah. It's not just a storage issue, it's the building itself and the updates that are required to take care of it.
Museum standard lighting, security, climate control, that the expense of doing it here would be so prohibitive.
But one of the key components is making the library work as a library. When people look at the way libraries were used in the past, there are often several key phrases that come to mind: research, books, quiet, and so forth. And when people are asked to explore the library of the future, the library of even today, they note that there are many more components as a community hub for cultural and educational as well as entertainment facilities. And these are all part of what the library experience is about. And so it's interesting to try and take all of these new phrases and these new expressions of library service and conduct them in the same building that was designed, in some cases 100 years ago, for a much simpler version of what libraries were.
In reading all the things that John left us, he always seemed forward-thinking. I don't think he would want us stuck in the past just because people want it the way it's always been.
So our challenge is the same as the one John Barrow gave us in 1876. Let us not forget our local trusts and duties. May we all do something to this end, so that after another 100 years, our successors shall meet together and rejoice, and thank us for what we may have done for the pleasure and honest pride of their lives.